and welcome back to my channel and to my winter book haul. So before we get into the haul part of this video, let me just mention that I have decided that I'm going to change my haul videos a little bit going forward. So far I've been doing hauls every 3 months or so, and I've talked about all the physical books that I've acquired since my last haul. The reason I haven't included ebooks in that is just because 1, there are so many, and 2, because a lot of the ebooks that I acquire are just kind of random. They are maybe freebies that I download just because they sound fun or because it's an author that I want to check out. And honestly, I'm not sure that I'll ever get to a lot of them, and I want the books that I talk about in my hauls to be books that I actually plan on reading. But lately, more and more of the books that I acquire are ebooks, and many of them are books that I'm very excited about, and I didn't want to not mention them just because they're ebooks, you know. So I think what I'm going to do from now on is that I'm going to talk about physical books and ebooks, but I'm only going to mention the ebooks that I'm the most excited about, which will be the books that even though I got most of them on sale, or at least the ones that I'm going to talk about today, they're still books that I would have paid full price for because I am very excited to read them. I want to read them, and they are books that were on my to buy list or wish list, just like my physical books. Because honestly, if I was going to talk about all the ebooks that I've acquired since my last haul, we would be here all day. Because I went a little bit crazy lately with acquiring ebooks, especially in January, so that would just take way too long. But because of this, there could also end up being a lot more books to talk about in my haul videos, which means that I'll probably do them more often than I've done so far. I'm not sure how often, if it will be every month or every second month, or just when I feel like it's time, but I expect it to be more often than I've done until now. So after that very long-winded intro, let's get to the actual haul part of the video. I have some physical books and I have a lot of ebooks. I'm not going to say too much about each book because that would make this video way too long, and I also don't know that much about all the books. But yeah, let's just start with physical books. I have 7 of those, so I actually haven't acquired a lot of physical books since my last haul back in November. The first 3 that I have are novellas. I have 3. We have This Winter by Alice Oseman, which I've already read and talked about on this channel. I think I received this just a couple of days after I filmed my last book haul at the end of November, so I'm just gonna mention it here. But yeah, I've read and talked about this one. Then we have Love Creekwood by Becky Albertelli, which is a novella set in her Creekwood universe that I really love. We have Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, we have The Upside of Unrequited, and we have Leah on the Offbeat. All those books are in the same universe, and this one also belongs in that universe, and I'm very excited to read it at some point. And then we have To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers, which I think is a standalone, but I've really enjoyed her Wayfarers series that I've been reading, and I've heard a lot of good things about this one as well, so I wanted to read it. Let's just see. Let's just put the books right here. Then we have The Summer of Everything by Julian Winters. This book just sounds really good. It's a YA contemporary, and it just sounds kind of right up my alley. The main character works in a used bookstore, which yes, please. There seems to be a lot of the story seems to revolve around sibling relationships, which yes, please again. And there also seems to be a queer romance. So this just has a lot of things that sounds like I'm going to enjoy. So I'm very excited about this one. Kind of sounds like I maybe should read it in summer, so maybe I'll get to it this summer. I hope so. Then we have 2 books that I received for Christmas. It's Assassin's Quest and Royal Assassin, which is book 2 and 3 in the Farseer trilogy. I already have the first book. I've read the first book. It's been a while since I read it, so I will probably reread that one before I get to these two. But I've been meaning to continue with this trilogy and hopefully read all of it and see how I feel about it, if I want to continue and read the other books in this universe. So now I'm ready to just dive into this trilogy when I get the chance. And finally we have a book that I received just yesterday, so right in time for this video, and that is The King of Crows by Libba Bray. I don't feel like I really need to talk much about this one. It's the fourth and final book in the Diviner series. I'm currently reading the third book in the series, so I just wanted to have this one ready for when I'm able to get to it. So yes, I got this one. And that was all the physical books that I've acquired over the past 3 months. So not that many, which is great, since you all know by now probably that I'm trying just to get the number of physical unread books that I own down. So that is very helpful. So let's get to the ebook part of this video. To be honest, a lot of the ebooks that I acquire are romance. I mean, none of you are probably surprised by that. But I also have some ebooks that are not romance, or at least not mainly romance. So I think I'll get to those first. I'm just going to look at my computer a lot for this part because I made some notes about each book. So the first one is Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh, which is the first book in the Green Hollow duology. I heard about this one from someone here on BookTube. I think it might have been Amrita from Amrita by the Book. I'm not 100% sure, but I know she really enjoys fantasy novellas, which is what this is, so I think it might be her. I put it on my wish list, and then when I saw it was on sale, I just got it. Like I said, it's a fantasy novella, so it's not very long. The cover looks absolutely gorgeous. I love it, and I just want to check this out, so very happy to have that one. And then we have the Binti series by Nnedi Okorafor. I have the whole box set. I think in this package there is the trilogy, the Binti trilogy, plus probably a short story or something, because there are 4 things in here. It's Binti, which is the first book, then we have Home, The Night Masquerade, and Sacred Fire. So 4 things, and I think all of these are novellas, so I expect them to be kind of quick to read. I've just heard very good things about the series. It's a sci-fi series, which is pretty much all I know about it, but yeah, I've been wanting to check this one out, so when I saw the whole trilogy, plus apparently an extra story as well, I grabbed it. And then we have In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan, and this is totally Lana's fault, because she just convinced me that I should read this when we had our body read talk earlier this month. The way she talked about it just made me very excited, so when I found this one and I saw that it wasn't super expensive, I just got it. So this is a YA fantasy. It seems to be some kind of magical school setting, which really intrigues me because it's something that I like. There seems to be some queer characters as well, which, it's something that I like. So this one just sounds like it will be a lot of fun. And Lana just spoke very highly of this one. So, I hope that I'll enjoy it too. Then we get to all the romance book, of which there are a lot. But I'll try to go through them kind of quickly. And the first one is The Sugared Game by K.J. Charles, which is the second book in the Will Darling Adventure series. I don't own the first book yet, which I think is Slippery Creatures, but I saw the second book on sale, and I know I want to read the series. I know I want to read more K.J. Charles, so I just grabbed it. So this is historical romance, which I've been wanting to read more of, and I have read 1 book so far by K.J. Charles, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the writing style, and I've just been wanting to read more books by this author because a lot of people love the books. So I'm excited to get into this series eventually. Then we have Finding Joy by Adriana Herrera. I've never read from this author before, but I've heard good things. This one takes place in Ethiopia, I think, and it's a romance between a Dominican American emergency relief worker, and I think a local guy. It looks like it's a standalone, at least for now, so that is nice. I feel like a lot of romance books are always in series, and I'm such a completionist, so I struggle to just like read random books in series, so I appreciate a standalone every now and then. Then we do have a series. I acquired Rainbow's Place by Jane Northcott, which is the first book in a series that is also called Rainbow Place. This series seems to be set or revolves around a bar in Cornwall in the UK, which is pretty much all I know, but I've read from this author before, and I've enjoyed the books that I've read, so I've been meaning to read more. Then we just have a lot of books by E.M. Lindsay, and the first one is Heartbeat Repeating. This one seems to be like a Hanukkah romance, which sounds really cool because I have never read one of those, and I don't think there are that many around. So that is very exciting. So there seems to be, or the relationship in this book seems to be starting out as sort of a like sugar daddy relationship. One of the guys seems to be like a millionaire. But there also seems to be like more serious undertones here because there seems to be at least one of the characters who are dealing with like grief and mental health issues. So, I mean, this one sounds like it's going to be pretty good. I've read from this author before. I've read one book, I think, but that's several years ago. And since then, I've just heard so many great things about this author's book, so I've been meaning to read more. So the second book I have is a book called Love Him Breathless, also by E.M. Lindsay. This is the second book in a series that is called On the Market, which is a series that I have been meaning to look into. I don't own the first book yet, but I will probably buy that one as well before I dive into the series. So this series seems to be like a small town romance series. In this particular book, one of the characters is a fire chief whose body was like badly burned in a fire, which is pretty much what I know about this one. And then also by E.M. Lindsay, I got a whole box set with 6 books. It's the Iron and Work series, and when I saw it was on sale, I mean, I just had to have it. So this, like I said, did I say it was 6 books? And this series seems to revolve around a tattoo shop. So, I mean, that is what I know, but like I said, I've been wanting to read more from this author, so I grabbed it. So that was all the E.M. Lindsay books that I've acquired lately. And then we have a book that is called Better Than People by Rowan Parrish. This one, I've just heard a lot of good things about this author, but I've never read anything by this author before. It has a dog on the cover, which, you know, it's always nice. And I think this story is about 2 guys that meet when one of them is hired to like walk the other one's dog, which sounds really sweet. So yes, excited to read that one. And then we have a couple of books by Annabeth Albert. The first one that I have is a book called At Attention. It's the second book of the Out of Uniform series. And I actually also own the first book in this series, so that is great. So when I decide to dive into this series, I actually have the first 2 books. This series, I think, is about some like ex-military guys, or maybe they're current military. I don't really know. I just know there's something about the military. And this book in particular seems to be kind of a single dad romance, and also maybe kind of a friends, brothers kind of situation. So, I mean, yes, I've heard a lot of good things about Annabeth Albert, but I've never read anything by her, so I'm excited to try some of these books. And then I also have another Annabeth Albert, and that is a book called Burn Zone. And this book is the first one in another series that she has. This series is called Hot Shots. And this series, I think, is about firefighters. So, I mean, that could be fun. In case you were wondering, and I didn't mention it, but I think it's probably obvious if you've watched any of my previous videos. These are all MM romance, by the way, which is pretty much all I read in romance. So I'm not going to mention that, but yes, they all are male romance. The next book that we have is Variable Onset by Layla Rain. This is a romantic, like thriller suspense book, which is not really my favorite subgenre in romance, or at least the books that I've read so far. But I want to try like more stories and more authors in that genre, and I've heard good things about this author, so when I saw it on sale I decided to get it. This one I think is a standalone as well, which, you know, I mentioned before is always nice. And I think it has the fake dating trope in this one, which could be fun. And then we have a book by Leda Blake, which is called Slow Heat. This one is the first book in a series called Heat of Love. And this one is like a paranormal romance with shifters. And honestly, I don't really read a lot of those. It's not something that I'm usually drawn to. But I read 2 books by Leda Blake back in December, 2 holiday romances by her, which I really enjoyed. So I've been wanting to read more from her. And I think this one I actually got for free as well, so I just had to get it. Then we have a couple of books by R. Caden, which I've read 3 books from over the past couple of months. I read a whole trilogy by this author. So the first book that I have here is a book called Forbidden Friend. And this book is a second book in a series, but I haven't forgotten to write down what the name of the series is. But there seems to be like a best friend's brother kind of situation, and I think in this case like the best friend's twin brother, which, you know, could be kind of fun. And then we have another book by R. Caden, which is Crave Me, and this is the second book in a series called Geek Inc. And it sounds like it's like an opposite attract story between a tattoo artist and a botanist. Botanist, is that how you say it? Botanist, I think. And I like opposite attracts is just something that I really love in romances, so I think that one could be great. And I've really enjoyed the books that I've read from R. Caden. I've read, like I said, 3 books so far. I loved one of them a bit more than the 2 others, but overall this is an author that I want to read more from. And then we have a book called Lost and Found. It's by Lucy Lennox and Sloan Kennedy. And this is the first book in the Twist of Fate series. This one sounds to be like a second chance and a friends to lovers romance. And both these authors are someone that I've been meaning to check out because I've heard good things about both of them. So when I found this one on sale, I was very excited. Then we have a book that is called The Sea Ain't Mine Alone by C.L. Beaumont, I think. This is actually kind of a historical romance. It's set in the 1970s, which just sounds like something that I will enjoy because I really enjoy books set in that time period. It's very long for a romance. Like romance novels are like typically maybe between 200 and 300 pages, but this one is over 500 pages. So, I mean, it's almost twice as long as a lot of the others. It seems to be about surfers, which is pretty much what I know about it. The reason I decided to get this one is just that I've seen it very highly recommended on some blogs that I follow. And like I said, the 1970s setting just sounds like it's gonna be my thing, so I'm very excited and curious to try out this one. And then we're at the final book in this haul, and that is a book called Family Camp. It's by Eli Easton. This one is set at a camp, which is probably obvious based on the title. And it seems to be a romance between a single father and a pro baseball player. I mainly got this one because I've really enjoyed what I've read from Eli Easton in the past. So I've been meaning to try more from this author. So I saw this one on sale, so I grabbed it. So that was my entire haul. I feel like future editing me is really going to edit this video because I need to insert a lot of book covers over here. But I just wanted to mention these books because I'm very excited to get to all of them. And yeah, I've been going a little bit crazy with acquiring ebooks lately. This is only like a small part of all the ebooks that I've acquired, but they are probably the ones that I will prioritize the most and that I'm most excited to get to. So let me know if you've read any of these, if there are any of these books that you think that I should prioritize. I would love to know. So I think that's going to be it for this haul video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!